Let's go to Chicago now because Paris Schutz is joining us this morning. He's with our Fox 32, our great affiliate there in Chicago. All right, Paris, how's this story playing in Chicago? The president wants to bring the National Guard in. He says there could be people in your city who are still concerned about crime. What are you hearing?
Well, absolutely. It's explosive here in Chicago the last few days since the Washington Post came out with that report on Saturday. There are people concerned with crime in Chicago, and they always have been. But, a broad consensus has basically come out to say that they don't believe the National Guard necessarily is the solution to that. And now there's the political pushback, obviously. So less than 48 hours after that story came out, Governor Pritzker here assembled literally every local public official he could find. And then on Monday had a big press conference, forcefully pushing back. So obviously there's the political pushback. And, we've been preparing for this as the president has intimated that he would be interested in this for weeks. So we've talked to a lot of legal experts that we've become experts here on the Posse Comitatus Act. It's a federal law, which is we don't need to go into the weeds here, but it basically says that the president doesn't have the authority over the National Guard, states' National Guard troops. The governor is the executive, is the chief, the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, except for very limited emergency circumstances. So the Insurrection Act, a rebellion against government, or a foreign invasion. And those are the exceptions for which the president can actually call in the National Guard without the governor's consent. He would need the governor's consent otherwise.
I would love to get your take on why you think, because this is the argument that other cities are making. Well, hold on a second. Our crime rate is already dropping. You've looked at the numbers. A, is that true? And B, what are they doing in the last, say, maybe 24 months or so to try to bring that rate down? What's already working?
And over the years, I've talked to a lot of criminologists, and it's amazing how the exact answers for why crime goes up and goes down eludes almost everybody. I mean, there's lots of research, there are theories, and Chicago's violent crime and murder rate has dropped about 30%. This year over last. It is on track to finish the lowest it has in about 11 years, but that's not so out of league with other big cities across the country that are also experiencing a drop. We had that spike through in COVID and then 2021, and then it started to come down. So anyone you talk to, even police, I spoke with our former police chief yesterday who said, what criminologists say, it's so many factors. It's, the economy, it's a lack of job opportunities, it's the availability of guns, it's gangs and drugs, it's policing, it's tougher policing and prosecution. All of those things kind of fit in here, and so no one seems to have the exact answer why this trend we're seeing across the country. So it does seem an odd time for the president to announce a crisis or an emergency, which he would have to do to have the authority over the National Guard. That being said, the other thing that a lot of law enforcement folks tell me is that, and having covered big events here in Chicago, the National Guard, when they get called up, it's to guard infrastructure during protests, during the DNC, which we had here, or it's to do traffic management and crowd control. And the thing that, I spoke with the most conservative member of Chicago City Council, a hardcore Trump supporter, who said this is a terrible idea because National Guards, men and women, are not trained to be police officers. So there's not much they can really do. They can't make arrests. They can't chase down and apprehend a gun offender. They can't, stop a shoplift from happening. They don't have that jurisdiction. So the law enforcement types are not clear on exactly what the National Guard would do on a day-to-day basis to bring down crime, other than just have a presence perhaps walking around some of the populated areas.
So, Harris, we have about 45 seconds or so left. Can you share? I mean, I think the idea around the country is that there is a lot of crime there in Chicago. Is it gang violence, or what type of crime exists in Chicago?
The crime in Chicago is mostly interpersonal crime. It's not related to some of it's related to gangs and drugs, but not as much as perhaps the image suggests. It tends to be in high poverty areas, in areas that are blighted and that don't have great job opportunities, where kids aren't going to school. And It could be over a social media beef. It could be over someone looked at you the wrong way, or they're on your block and that's your territory, and you should be on someone else's territory. So it comes down to all those kind of multifactorial issues, but then it has tended to be interpersonal gripes in these communities that have a lot of trouble.
All right. So, Paris, we appreciate your time today. Really good perspective,
Yeah,
Celeste.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime.